You gotta start off with a bang. And the bang tonight is
me wanting
my
to slap him in the
obsessive-compulsiveness.
face. Yeah.
It's really taking over me right now.
Do you know what's funny? Is I pointed out that John is a little OCD. Point in case. I don't know what else to say about that. But he is just very, like, I don't know, focused. But then all of a sudden he was like distracted. And I was pointing out the other day because he was getting after me about the cleanliness of, like, it's not even cleanliness. It's like the order of our house, if everything is in place and whatever.
Well, you literally have one job as a wife.
Yeah. I will say, actually, in this moment, I feel like feminism has slapped me in the face. It's like, wow, yeah, work full time, be a mother, be a cleaner, and you're full-time chef. And
I'm just saying, just
if I could drop the other
do
jobs,
more.
If you only wanted me to be like your,
You know what's
like,
funny is people are
maid,
gonna be like, "You're a terrible person" in the comments. They're gonna be like,
who? About,
Jonathan, just about me. You're ungrateful. I can't believe you treat her like that. You're so mean.
some days I
Yeah.
agree with the comments, some days, and then other days I don't agree. So
Oh,
it's
whatever.
fine. I think, like, within, I don't know, like the way we're working right now, I think, like, we have our strong suits. The other day we were having an argument, and
We
we were
don't fight.
never.
We don't usually fight.
No, we fight constantly, but we like each other at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So, the other day we were having a fight, and we were talking about, you know, just the lack of, I don't know. Actually, to explain it all, we're launching a new website. We're putting out merchandise, and we're doing it in a really short period of time to develop an entire website. So pressure's on. We have so much to do. And I'm a very, like, task oriented, like, we need to get this done by this time. And, like, all I can see are those timeline goals. And John and I were having very different focuses where he was like, the house is messy. And I'm like, let's get this done. And we were having a really hard time kind of aligning in what we were doing. So we're having a decent sized argument.
Well, we stayed in this house before we moved to Fiji, which is awesome. And this is what I'd love to have when we build our house, is like a space that Stephanie is not allowed into. Because, like, I had an office space that, like, she literally had no interest in going into. It was just a table with a computer and a printer and a bed. So I'd work at this computer. I'd edit until like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And if I need to nap, I just, like, pull my chair away from the table, lay on the bed, sleep for half an hour, get up and edit again. Stephanie really had no reason to go in that room.
No.
But I just feel like and I'm talking about this because I feel like there's probably other people who can relate to it.
John just needs a space away from life when he's working. He can't deal with, and it's not my mess necessarily.
No,
it's the entire
not at all.
household's mess.
Yeah.
And I cannot.
We have kids, and kids make a mess. And I know one day I will miss the kids' mess.
And it's very hard for me to be expected to be developing a website and doing X, Y, and Z and running, you know, the background stuff in Canada and also keep a clean household during the day. But John can't come home and function within, like, having dishes in the sink or things out of place. And so we know we function really differently. I do really well at, like, high pace. And, like, if I'm focused on something, I really need to continue with that, like, focus and mindset and just kind of keep it rolling. I'll get so much done and I'll get so much inspiration and joy out of it. And John needs, like, a space for, like, productivity.
I feel like you're talking to other people, not me right now. Talk to me.
We are.
It makes for a better podcast.
Oh, okay.
So say everything you're saying to them to me.
You work within a better space of, like, solitude and like non-distraction, because we've decided today or yesterday, no, we haven't decided, but I was joking the other day that you are, like, a perfectionist, but with such ADHD. And then it's really funny because today you sent me, like, a meme.
Dude, I connected with that reel so hard. It was this morning. I think it was while I was looking for my morning workout. Like, I opened up Instagram, obviously the first thing that showed up was something that, like, you're interested in. So, and it was like, it was a picture, or it was a video. and it was all clips of it must be a movie where it's the guy off Breaking Bad. What's his name? The main character off Breaking Bad, the guy. And he's
Doesn't
like,
matter.
but this matters though to me. It matters to me, the details. And he goes to like fix a light bulb, and he turns the light bulb, and something
like distracts him.
Yeah, something distracts him, and then he goes to get something's loose, and then he goes to the drawer to get the screwdriver, and then the drawer is squeaky. Then he's like, oh, like the drawer like is squeaky. So then he goes to like the garage and he gets the WD-40, like the CRC like lubricant, to like stop the squeaky drawer, and then he like shakes the can. He's like, empty. He's like, oh. Then he goes to like the key rack. He's like, okay. He gets the keys for the car because now he's got to go get the refill the CRC or like get a new one. And then he like goes to start the car and it's like, and it's like, and he's like, ugh. And then the next day his wife comes in the door. He's like, honey, did you fix the light bulb? He's like, I'm working on it. And he's got like the car on there and the engine out of the car.
It's super you.
Dude, that is so me right
you
now.
You said that to me this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that is
It's
what
just
I'm
like him
dealing
sitting
with.
like, I'm working on it. It was freaking out. It's like, dude, yeah.
I will say it's an intense combination between like the perfectionism that you have and then the like the other day when you came home, you were like, the house is not clean. And it's crazy, like the amount of like stress that
You need to put this up so you can talk into it. Otherwise people can hear you.
The stress that you like evoke from that. And then all of a sudden you were like cleaning. You're like, Steph, like the house is not clean. I need a clean space if I'm going to function well. And so I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden you were chopping mangoes. And I'm like, wait, I thought we were stressed about the messy house. And so
we were stressed about the messy house. Me and my OCD other person. And so I was cleaning and then I was like, what is this random bag that's on the table about? So I like went to throw it away or move it. And there's like a bag full of the mangoes that we bought on the way home from church on Sunday. It was all full of fruit flies and they're like rotting. So I'm like, well, frick sakes, now I got to cut up these mangoes. So then I cut up the mangoes and put them in a bowl.
Well, and it's weird. Like nowadays we all talk about like ADHD and all these different things. And I remember like back in the day when I was in high school, this was not something that was talked about a lot. No teachers were helpful in this area. Even for myself, like my siblings and I all deal with different reading disorders, either like dyslexia. I have some sort of like skip reading that I deal with when I'm reading like a long passage. Well, I'm not informing you that like I'll read and then I'll like skip and read down here. And I realized that only because I love reading novels. And so when I'm interested in something, I would read and then I'd be like going, oh, that doesn't make sense. And then I'll go back and then read the actual correct area and go, oh, that's how it got put together. And over the years, I kind of diagnosed myself, and same with some of my siblings have said, oh, I think I, just jumble things in my brain or whatever. And it's interesting.
It's a good diagnosis.
Well, and I recently talked to a friend that is a school teacher. And she said that if I take the things that I'm reading and cover it, I think it was with blue, that my brain won't skip.
What?
Yeah. And
have you tried it?
I haven't actually tried it yet, which seems ridiculous. But it's something that I'm like, I don't know. I'm also technology impaired. So I keep thinking I should ask John how to like overlay my text with blue or do something like that. But I just thought, that's kind of interesting. Typically what I do, because I'm self-diagnosed, like I typically just read all my things 3 times because I know I skip read. So I try and make sure I read it multiple times so I don't do that.
Like if I send you like a text message that's long, you're not reading it.
No, I read it. I just miss sections of it.
Let's be honest.
I am being honest.
Yeah.
I read it. I just miss sections of it.
You just miss?
I do. Well, and that's something that I've always realized within like the way that I learn And the way that I deal with things is like when I used to study for science exams, I would read and I would skip sections because I would not be interested in it. And I skip more when it's boring. If it's not interesting, I'm really like patchy in my reading. If it's interesting, I'll get bigger sections. And so I go do the exam and be like, I studied for hours. I don't know how, like, I don't know most of this. When I was young, and then as an adult.
Dude, you went to school with a guy who killed homeless people. Tell us about that.
So okay, very big topic veer, but when I was in high school, I was in like a physical education class with this.
That makes it sound really like perverted or something.
Well, we call it PE, which is physical education, so sports.
Okay.
Sorry. And there was a guy in there that was really quiet. And I was like, oh, well, he is quiet, doesn't have any friends. Like, I should be nice to him. Like,
dude,
what? I just felt bad for the guy. He had no friends. So I'd just kind of like
leave
try
him
to be
alone.
nice, like say, hi, how are you? Kind of thing. And then all of a sudden he was gone for a few weeks. And I asked one girl, like, oh, you remember that guy that, didn't say much? Like, what happened to him? And she was like, oh, like you didn't hear? And I was like, nope, sure didn't. And she's like, oh, him and his friends were tying homeless people to the train tracks and torturing them and then letting them get run over.
Dude,
and I was
that
like,
is some dark shenanigans.
oh. So for me, after that, I was like, I don't think I'm being friendly to the quiet person in class.
And then you fell in love with him.
No, yeah, no, definitely.
I was a quiet guy.
Yeah, right. That is so not true.
Dude, I used to serenade you. First time we met, just serenading you.
I was such a silent human being.
Yeah.
So vain, serenading, like you're some like rock star over here.
Honestly, like when you think back to like how you used to act when you were a kid, it's so embarrassing. I like met you and you're like, so what do you guys all do? And I was like with my cool friends who like used to party. They're like, yeah. Like you're like, what do you guys do on the weekends? Because you're kind of like partying, party stage of life. And they were like, yeah, like Fridays, like, I like to go on bush party, like, because I grew up in like rural Saskatchewan in Canada, like farm hick town. So like people go out to just the coolies,
And I was just trying to suss people out.
Yeah, just go out to the bush and have big bushfires, bonfires, and they're like, yeah, just like to, go have drinks and party on Fridays and hang out. And I'm like, you turn to me like, what do you do? I'm like, yeah, I like to party, Fridays.
Are you
It
sure?
was like this, the hot rod. It's like, mine. What?
I don't think you said you like
Mine
to
is Rod,
party.
and I like to party. And you? Yeah, my name's Dan, and I also like to party. No, I like to party.
I don't think you ever said that. I knew you were the biggest goody two shoes of my life the moment I met you, and that is why I liked you. So.
And then I proceeded to go into the next room and play Jack Johnson with my friends.
Yeah.
Kendra was on the piano. I was playing guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good history.
It's
It's okay. I already knew you were a choir boy, so it's all right.
What song were you singing?
I don't know if it matters.
Doesn't really
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
So you went to school with homeless killers. How many people did you graduate with?
My graduation class was 500. And yourself?
36.
Yeah.
I think.
Big difference. Actually, my school had some
You have 500 people in your class?
500 people in my graduation class, yeah.
It's like the size of my school. That's bigger than my whole school.
It's
though.
bigger than your whole school. Well, and we had some bomb classes. Like we had this class called chef's class.
It's called home economics.
No, it was called chef's class in our school.
Oh.
And the best thing was we'd go in and you could take $2 and you could buy a bacon egger. It was...
What? Can you explain a bacon egger for the peeps?
It's like English muffin, bacon.
Explain an English muffin. How do you explain an English muffin?
It's like a scone, but soft and fluffy. That's how I'd go. Hey?
No, it's just like it's like a bun that somebody stepped on. It's got like a crisp and like fluffy inside.
Well,
It's like a flat bun.
between those two, that's pretty accurate. Anyway, mayonnaise, bacon, egg, and cheese. Like, but not even like good cheese, but like those like square slices that have some kind of like rubbery meltiness to them. But the best part of it, you give $2 and then you'd say, I'm in room 206 and I would
This
like
is the
my
craziest
bacon and
part.
egg by 10 a.m. And the chef's class would deliver it to your classroom. They'd come in and like at 10 a.m. they'd be like, order for Stephanie. And then they would drop it off at your desk in your classroom. And it was like, $2 worth of like beauty. And the teachers didn't care. They would just let you eat your bacon egger. And I would sometimes like scrounge like in my house for like coins just so I get like $2.
You mean steal?
I'm not stealing.
How are you scrounging?
Like
Who are you scrounging from?
my
Like
parents
in the
probably.
creases of the couch?
Yeah, creases of the couch, like the loose change in the car. My dad was like, if you find change, this is not stealing. My dad was like, if you find change in the house, it's yours. Like
Well, he didn't even keep change.
my dad, if he had change in his pocket, like he's
He
like,
just play games with you guys.
I don't jingle. Like here.
Yeah. He'd
Yeah.
be like, he'd figure out like games to play to give his change away.
Oh heck yeah.
Pretty much.
It was very stressful as a child. Like he'd be like, okay guys, when we were really small, he's like, if your allowance is $1, we didn't get like a regular allowance. He would just randomly be like, if you
What is
like,
an allowance?
it'd be like the amount that your parents give you to spend on like fun things.
I
Right.
never ever got an allowance.
Well, that's your. I got it like once a month maybe, but it was like $1 or $2. But my dad would a couple times be like, "Okay, we're heading home. It's dark out. If you guys race me home, I'm gonna run home. If you guys beat me home, you get $1 each." And
What do you mean?
it'd be like from like where we were at the church, like a 10-minute run home, and you'd be like jumping through people's yards or fences or like
And
on
he
the
would
street.
be running too?
And my dad be running too. He'd give us like a 2-3 minute head start, and then we'd all run, and then my dad would run after us. And he would win sometimes. He wouldn't always just let us win. So we'd like race my dad home so we get our allowance.
Dude, that's sick.
It was very stressful.
I did that with the kids.
It's like, on your marks, get set. You're like, I need that $1. Because at that age, like $1 was everything to you.
Right.
You're like, I can get a chocolate bar. I could get like a lollipop. It doesn't matter. It's $1. And I didn't have $1 before. So you're just running for your life. And you could hear my dad like coming behind you. And we were running through like the neighborhood, like people's yards, trying to take shortcuts, doing like anything out of desperation to make it home before him. It's just the thrill of lifetime. And like other things my dad would do with us would be like, he used to take hula hoops and cut them into 2. And then he would take
I still don't understand. Like, you explain this like it makes sense, and it still doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, think of a circle
I think of a circle.
and you cut it in 2. And so
I'm
it's
thinking
like
of a semicircle.
kind of curved, right? And he
Yes.
would take the ends of the hula hoop and wrap it into a handle. And then he would take the end of the hula hoop and have like a solid knob with tape. And so you'd hold the handle. So it'd be like a curved, like Arabian sword. Like the sword you come downstairs with.
It's a terrible sword.
Oh, no, it was the best sword ever.
That's
And
the
then-
biggest curve?
Dude, it
It's
was...
a useless weapon.
Trust me, it was great. And he would go downstairs and he would be like, okay, you have to come downstairs and fight me and stab me.
How do you stab with a half circle?
Oh, trust me, it's so intense.
Guys,
and
like,
my
these are the-
dad
these are the
has
details
like
that
a
matter to
weird
me, okay?
skill of sword fighting. Where did he get this from? I have no idea. But you come downstairs and have to sword fight my dad. And if you stabbed him, you get your allowance. If you didn't, you got nothing.
Well,
And
he's smart. He gave you a half circle sword, so of course you could never stab him.
trust me, it was
Did you ever win?
like 50-50. But my dad was pretty good at it until you'd have to just, it was stressful. As a child, I just remember high anxiety about going like, oh, I need to go and beat my dad to get $1. Yeah, it was fun though. It was a good memory. I think it was a good time.
Yeah, we didn't really play games as kids.
No? What
No.
what happened in your family? Like, did you get an allowance? Did you get to go out with your friends? What did that look like for
No, I
you?
didn't get an allowance. Didn't really get to go out with my friends. No, I'm just kidding. No. No, I got to go out with my friends
Such a
sometimes, but
depressing
not,
childhood.
my parents were not like fans of like having us out of the house. They would like compared to your parents.
Yeah, we had very different parenting
Yeah, my
styles.
parents would like give me a very good reason why you should not be in the house, and whereas your parents are like give me a reason that you should be in the house. I think that what No?
No, I would say yes and no. Like my parents were like, if you want to
Get out of
have
the house.
50 friends over,
Yeah.
have your friends over. My parents were like, if you are at a friend's house that we trust and we know the parents
I didn't
of,
have sketchy friends though.
no, you had the sketchiest of friends.
So one of my friends pulled a knife on me. That's it.
Exactly. So let's talk about that. We're
I
gonna
think we already talked about that.
Have we?
Maybe not. Anyways, Vince, you're definitely not watching, but I remember you pulled a knife on me the first time we hung out. That was not cool.
Yeah. So no wonder your parents kept you at home.
Vince moved in like my grade 11 year. We became really good friends, but in the first couple of weeks of him being there, like he didn't know anybody, and he was always going to be like one of the cool kids. Like he was athletic, he was smart, he was tech savvy. His mom somehow had lots of money. Didn't really make sense because his mom was single. But anyways, there's always alimony, right? And so we start hanging out, and I go over to his house, and he closes the door. Oh, his mom's there, but she works night shift. I think she was a nurse. And she leaves, and then as soon as the door closes, we're standing in the kitchen. He like opens a cutlery drawer and he grabs a big kitchen knife and he like turns around, like shoves me against shoves me against the counter. He's like, bro, he's like, I could slit your throat right now. You know that, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, dude.
Creepiest friend.
Oh, dude. Like, what? He's like, dude, I'm just kidding, man. He like takes the knife and like puts it away. He's like, yeah, let's go upstairs. Let's go to my room. I'm like, okay. So I went to his room. We hung out and it was cool. And me and Vince were really good friends, like all through high school.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's life. We've all had our interesting friends. Like I had a friend in high school that would always make up stories. She was a bit of a compulsive liar.
Her name is...
Nope, we're not doing that. But anyway, when I moved we had a long history of the like compulsive lying, and our friend group knew about this, but we still accepted her for who she was. We kind of just had a rule in our friend group that like if she would tell you a story,
such a girl thing to do.
Fact check her between your other friends. Well, she was fun. That was the catch. She was a lot of fun. She was exciting. But then
my friend was fun too. He pulled a knife on me. Was I still friends with him?
Yeah.
Yes.
You were. So that's such a dude thing to do. Anyway, when I moved out of the town that we grew up in, and I moved to Saskatchewan where you were, she told everybody that I knew, all my friend group, that I had moved to Vancouver, which was in our province, not where I was actually living.
3-4 hours away.
To become a stripper. And I had one of my friends message me.
And that's how I met your mother.
And she had told everybody, yeah, Stephanie moved to Vancouver to become a stripper. And that was kind of circulating. And I just laughed it off because I'm like, well, I don't know what to say to that. And if you don't know me, I guess you might believe that, but hopefully not. So I just kind of moved on. But that was a little extreme and it was like the first step into us like not being friends anymore. Because I just slowly started removing myself from that type of person. I just obviously realized becoming an adult, it was not something that I needed in my life. We're not currently friends. Someone I've kind of shut out of my life because of the interesting life choices that they've made. But it's just interesting to see kind of like when you're young, what you accept as a friend, Yeah,
it's weird. But I guess maybe when you get older, you don't need... I guess you're more confident in who you are, so you don't feel like you need to be okay with other people's stuff, or the baggage that they bring into relationships.
Yeah, and I look at our kids, and there's a bunch of things even now that are happening. Like, my oldest our oldest Aliki was saying to me the other week, like, "Oh, Mom."
You can definitely not say my oldest. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
if he's anybody's son, he's definitely mine.
Why?
He looks exactly like me.
That's true. Anyway, Aliki was saying to me that...
I'm saying this because when we had 2 kids, when you had the second, people were like, who's the dad?
Yeah, that's
like,
true. They're like,
me,
who's
Sam
the
looks
dad?
like her. I'm the dad.
Yeah, you definitely look like you stole someone's baby.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you've been accused of stealing babies before.
I have been accused of that. Which
Why are you touching him?
Aliki,
Don't touch him.
why are you hugging you? Okay, well, let's go to that story
Okay.
first. Aliki was on a water slide one day and got injured. And I was in this water park and I gave him a hug because he was crying. He got hurt. And this lady came up to me and was like, why are you hugging that kid? And I was like, oh, well, because he's mine. And they were just very confused at the skin color and the look. And it was a little funny. But yeah. Anyway, with Aliki, this last little while, I've been trying to teach them phonics at home.
Racist.
And
No, not the phonics. Sorry, that lady.
I know, but it's fine. And I was trying to teach him phonics at home. And I was saying to him, I think you can read. I think we can start with these really easy books. And one of my aunts had bought me a book set that's for really beginners. I actually used it when I was young.
Before you move on, about the book set.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt your story. How about the word phonics itself? Phonics is also a hard word. It's got the ph.
No.
To say the.
No one is teaching their child the word phonics.
Yeah, but why can't we just pick a normal word for the word that describes how to say words instead of using something that has rules? Ph says f. You know?
I don't make the rules, honey. I don't make the rules. Why
can't we call it Ronix?
Well, you could do that, but the rest of the world does not.
That's annoying though. That we have to use ph phonics to, describe the world of how to properly say
the
things.
Complexity of English. Oops.
I don't know. Anyways, you're doing these books with the kids.
I've been doing these books with him, and I've been trying to get him to sound out words, and I realized I think he can read already. And so we started these books, and he read 2 of them with minimal problems, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And he was very proud of himself, which he should be.
This classic parent.
What?
They're like, oh my gosh, you're so smart moment. And it's you just never realized how smart they were. They've just been smart the whole time.
Well, no, I think Aliki,
no, I mean it's just
Aliki is very smart.
Yeah.
But what I realized after reading with him, he said to me, well, Mom, my teacher told me I wasn't smart enough.
That's what I'm saying though.
And that I couldn't read until next year. And I was really mortified at that because I'm like, dude, you could have read probably 6 months ago at how well you're doing this. I didn't realize because I'm not spending enough time after dinner working through this with you. But the fact that your teacher is telling you that you're dumb and that you couldn't read until next year.
Mrs. Kumar, man.
That's not her name.
I know, I'm just kidding.
But, I was a little mortified at that. And, it's the educational system is just hard to kind of navigate here. Because I don't currently have time to, handhold them through this stuff. The kids are doing okay. But I think maybe by next year when we have a little bit more time, we might consider homeschooling or having a tutor or a teacher come into the house.
Yeah.
I don't care about our kids having the most exceptional high standard education.
A nanny, house maintenance, tutor person. If you guys know somebody, let me know.
Just all the things.
Yeah. Not a nanny. The kids don't need a nanny. They have all the kids in the village. They live in the village. We just need somebody to teach the kids and then help John, not freak out with his OCD or whatever I have.
So ADHD. True. When the kids were
What is the
small,
difference between OCD and ADHD? Because I've had people tell me I have OCD, but then the more I see about ADHD, might have ADHD.
You do not have OCD. People use that as a turn of phrase where it's
you're particular.
You're particular.
Yeah, that's why I've never believed
That's what OCD. When people you have OCD, it means you have a high standard of particularness, and
And I don't.
Okay, well, you.
Are you as you're saying it, you're yeah, you have OCD.
No, I'm no, you just have a very high standard of organization that you would like. It's not cleanliness. It's just you like things in its place.
Yeah. I realized the other day, the background of this podcast set, that's obviously not amazing, is our house, right? And I realized the other day, I like lots of counter space and table space to not be used.
Empty.
Yeah.
So
I want a lot of empty counter space. Like I want a kitchen with tons of counter space, big table, a nice island, but I want nothing on them.
So let's backtrack to when we lived in Canada, we had the tiniest house.
Oh my gosh.
It was so small. Not a lot of counter space. We lived there for a very long time, and John would not let me get a microwave because it took up too much counter space.
Yeah.
And it was very aggravating because every time I wanted to reheat leftovers, I had to take a pot or I had to put it in the oven.
I was preparing you for Fiji, baby.
Which I
You're
will
welcome.
say, yes, it's very true.
Say thank you.
This is the way Fiji is without electricity in the village. But like I remember when my mom or my sister would come over and they're like, what is wrong with you guys? Just get a microwave.
Well,
This
because
is
when
so
you live with a
annoying."
microwave, you're like, I don't know. Like I use it every day. I don't even like, it'd be weird to not have a microwave in my life.
Yeah.
Like it's not ever like, I don't know how I live without a microwave. It would just be like, it'd be so inconvenient.
No, the other day you were like, I just wish we could have a microwave. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I lived without a microwave for so long in Canada for only the reason that you needed empty counter space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need room for my bread box.
And John had this container that I don't know who, probably his mom gave to him.
It's like a garage for bread.
Yeah, well,
It's got like a door that you like slides open and like closes, and you keep bread in it.
keep
And
bread in it for
stays
whatever reason.
fresh, I guess.
No, I don't know. And you also had a container that kept pancakes warm.
Okay, that container is pretty sick. All right, it like separates your pancakes from the bottom of the container, so it's like a strainer inside of a pot. So it allows your pancakes to like steam and keep warm and like
Super
not get
cool.
crusty. It's key when you have pancakes once every 3 months.
It
It's
is.
a must.
Anyway, moving on from that thrilling revelation. I chucked
Sure.
that out, by the way. He was so mad at me.
You
I
did?
chucked that out.
How
And
dare
the
you?
moment you realized that, you were so mad at me. But I was like, we never use this.
I took 7 bundles of bananas from the farm today,
Okay.
and I took them into the market.
And how much money did you make?
I made $25. I just lost all my energy. It's weird. It's weird how I just lost all my energy. No, I sold 2 bundles for $25.
Well, that's really like 25
Yeah. What?
for 6. I'm like,
No.
bro.
But I'm thinking, let's have this conversation live, okay?
Okay.
Because I was unloading the other 5 bundles. So I sold 2 for $25.
Okay.
Which is not bad. That's like $12
Yeah,
a bundle.
Fine.
Which when you work it out is probably like 25 cents a banana. It's just
Yeah.
really cheap.
Really
Not good.
exciting. And at least it paid for your fuel for the trip into town and back.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I filled up for $194 when I got back to town. But we'll just keep that aside. Now that I've lost even more of my energy. But there was a guy at the coffee shop while I was unloading the bananas
Okay.
that said we should make banana smoothies. And he was like, please. He's like, what do you do with all these bananas? I'm like, oh, we're going to sell them as they get ripe at the coffee shop. Like we have a table outside where we sell fresh produce that comes in every once in a while. He's like, I always go to like New Era because I love their like banana smoothies. He's like, if you guys have banana smoothie, that'd be like so nice.
Well,
And he's like, I'm
I
like, what do
will
they put in the
say-
banana smoothie in the place where you like it? He's like, I don't know what they do, but he's like, it's just really good.
I will say I make a pretty good like banana peanut butter chocolate smoothie.
Yeah.
Could do that.
So he said if you make it, it's the guy who owns the hardware store. The younger, not the old looking guy, the tall,
Yeah.
kind of like
Okay.
other guy. Yeah. I was going to say, never mind. But what do you think about banana smoothies?
Yeah, we
Can we just try them out?
Well,
Like we're very adverse or very against just doing things that are like temporary because we like to like have things that we can systematize and make into processes for staff. But it's like we could make a lot more money off the bananas if we like turn them into smoothies and like just be like, hey, special for the week, banana smoothies, and just teach the staff
Yeah.
how to make them.
it's true. Well, we could just do it when it's available. That'd be fine.
All right. So are we
Because-
saying that like by next week we're gonna have banana smoothies, maybe for a few days?
We might. I'm debating putting in like blended coffees and ice cream avocados and banana smoothies.
Ooh, All right. So, avocado, I could get into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good. Avocado is like ice cream.
Okay, no.
Well, people, you can't just say avocado and just assume everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, but maybe people don't want to know what
A
it is.
bed of ice cream, and then you take espresso and pour it over.
So imagine just taking a small bowl of ice cream, putting it under the espresso machine, and then just hitting, and just like making a rich espresso, and then just dripping that espresso straight into the ice cream.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh.
It is addicting.
Yeah.
And I am going to ban myself from eating it because I'll become more fat.
Mm.
It'll be a hard thing to have at the store because I'm going to be like, I guess I have to taste test this, right? Make
Ooh.
sure that it's
Yeah.
as good
I
as
almost
it
bought
is.
ice cream today, like the most delicious looking ice cream ever.
No, what was
Yes.
it?
It was like some New Zealanders in like a circular container, black container.
Oh, dude, that is a good one.
Oh,
That is a good one. Okay, we tried recently this new brand of ice cream in Fiji.
Tip Top or something?
Tip Top. Terrible.
Terrible.
Worst ice cream ever.
Yeah.
I
Compared to Tucker's?
No, in general, terrible ice cream. Doesn't taste like much. Has zero flavor. I was
You
like,
disagree? You like it?
Tui liked it.
It was
Tui
the
was shaking his
chocolate
head
one.
at me. We tried vanilla
Chocolate.
and chocolate, and I was like, terrible.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, but
orange
you like
chocolate-
that no matter what, though. It's better than Tucker's?
Orange chocolate chip. I'm
Orange
gonna,
chocolate
I'm
chip
gonna
is
say
hard.
off the bat,
Terrible ice cream flavor.
terrible ice cream flavor. I've never heard anything worse. Orange chocolate chip.
It's like something somebody made when they were high on meth or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what'd be great, bro? What? Like, I have a
Orange
business idea.
chocolate.
Let's make orange chocolate chip. And they're scratching their scabs. They're like, oh, orange chocolate chip ice cream. And you're like, bro, that'd be sick. Let's do it. And then they like take like orange. It just doesn't make sense.
Yes.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. Same with Neapolitan.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't make
If you
sense.
can't do the basics, I'm not in.
Yeah.
I'm not going for it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with whatever the Tucker's is, or that black container. I don't know what the name is. I think it's a New Zealand brand because I've seen that before.
It looks, yeah, it's like $33 for a liter.
You know, okay, at least me, when I go see something like today, I was saying on the phone to you, yeah, we need mayonnaise. And you're like, what kind of mayonnaise? You were going through the brands. And I was like, no, you need to get this particular brand. You're like, that is the most expensive mayonnaise ever. I'm like, yep. And that's why it's the best one. If there is something typically of high quality or like a particular like overseas taste that you're looking for, is probably triple the price of everything else. Just because they're like, they know that we're suckers, that like you've had it before and you just need this certain thing. So they're like, I don't even need to make this much margin, but I'm going to jack it up because you're going to buy it.
I get
anyway.
depressed talking about this because it's like, I can't believe we're talking about like how expensive ice cream is, or like buying the most expensive mayonnaise. I guess this just goes to show everybody that like, obviously we invest all of our money back into our businesses and we stick in this out for the long run.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just like,
true.
how are we like in the point still, like, to be real with everybody, where we're like, we have to buy the expensive mayonnaise? You know?
Dude, how much was that mayonnaise?
It was like $15 for like a little jar.
Yeah. That's very
crazy.
That's very expensive. And the ice cream was $33.
Yeah, but like rich people don't think about that. Rich people buy whatever they want at the grocery store because they like to eat and they like it to taste good.
One day. Do you know what's next on the purchase list? Is those like glasses that you use for not getting a headache when you stare at a computer screen. I realized today.
Oh, does it eliminate blue light?
Yeah. Because I realized today, like, as I'm like,
You can't color grade in those.
oh, it doesn't matter. I'm like developing the website today, and I almost sat like 8 hours. Mine is like 30 minutes for me to go take like a break. I barely moved.
I could tell when I walked in and nothing was done in the house.
Exactly. My head was in agony in my eyes. Like, I was just like, I'm just.
By the way,
like,
guys, I'm
suffering.
joking, okay? Just take it easy.
He's not.
Right?
He's not joking.
Yeah, but I'm giving you a hard time because it's funny.
It's fine.
joking.
But joking, not joking. John's like, I don't really believe in, like, I don't know. No, I do. His aura of like stress of like, the house is not perfection was so strong that like me and Tui came up to me. He's like, is John okay? Like, he's not, but he will be okay. And this
she's like so comfortable right now. She's like,
it's funny because, and then I was saying to John, and this is the best part, something that is,
Tui's our producer behind the scenes
yeah,
here. Right
sorry, Tui. I'm not throwing you under the bus.
I told him, I
told him this prior to prove a point. I was like, you are crazy right now.
Also joking.
And then I was like, even Tui noticed. So just like, breathe. It's something that
I think Tui's song was stressing me out, to be honest with you.
Oh,
and Tui doesn't have any way to defend himself right now, which is great.
He doesn't have a mic.
I don't know what song Tui's been listening to in the last few days, but it's been, I don't know, this incessant
over and over again.
It's a lot. Yeah.
I was saying to Tui,
I like music.
You can play the same song for 24 hours. I will not notice. I don't care. I don't listen to it. I don't tune into it. I don't give a rip. I actually could start enjoying it, like in this weird psychotic way, because I don't care about music. John, on the other hand, will just slowly have this mental breakdown. I told him, I went into his room and I was like, stop playing that. Do you see John right now? He's freaking out.
Oh my gosh, you guys are like teaming up against me behind the scenes.
I was like, it's making it worse. The music over and over again is creating like a worse like psycho space for him.
I was like scratching the scabs off my face like a meth addict, even though I don't have any scabs.
Yeah. You're all take this down. And the funny thing is, for me, when I'm annoyed with you, which obviously experience, I was like, John, you seem to give me the longest hug. If you give me a hug, I'll feel better.
That's the worst. Nothing worse than a long hug when you're like annoyed.
You were annoyed and I had the longest hug with you. I forced you to give me a very long hug. I felt so much better after it. I was like, actually, I don't think I hate you anymore. I don't think you're irritating me. I think we're good. So I did it for myself, less for you. I was like, we have to have a podcast tonight.
I feel used, but that's okay.
And I'm so irritated with your like aura of like psychoticness that I was like, you need to give me the longest hug ever. And then when before we were starting the podcast, when we had the rough start to our podcast, then
it was a good start. I
made you hold my hand for a few minutes, and then I hated you less. Oh. I was like, okay, that's better.
So if I just touch you right now?
Yeah, I'm not that affectionate. It's just like physically affectionate. I'm okay. When I'm irritated, that does it for me. That like brings me back to like a regular space. And someone was saying, okay, the internet space. You know how you say like someone once told me, or like someone, it's always Google. Gosh. They were saying like when you're fighting, if you're fighting, like try to fight while you're holding hands, because it's really hard to actually have like a like legit argument while you're holding hands.
This is making me angry though.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but I've always wanted to try it, but I've never had like the mental fortitude to just be like angry with you and then like hold your hand and try to fight through it. But it was like this scientific study that said like if you're fighting, if you hold hands, it's very hard to actually continue like not fighting because you're like physically connected. Because fighting is hard.
I'll touch you forever then.
Yeah, we're just gonna chain ourselves together so we're always on the same page.
I will always touch you forever and ever.
Okay.
I'll stop touching you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that didn't last long.
And I don't think like I'm the most like overly physical person. I'm a little bit. I'm more time spent with. I would say that's my number one like love language. But I would obviously, if I'm irritated.
It is your number one love language.
Yeah, time spent with for sure, 100%. I think yours is as well, but you do have a little bit of well-roundedness.
Of like house cleanness.
No.
With.
That's not true.
That's a love language.
No, there's a lack of appreciation for that. That's an expectation. Love language is time spent with.
Oh.
Or gifts given. Or words of affirmation. I would say the things done for is not a love language other than like a John's mental piece of life.
You like words given?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, honey, I'll clean the house, and then like gifts given, like come home and the house is clean, like that.
Okay. However you like to take it, I guess.
I'm joking, everybody. I'm joking.
Anyway, we've been developing a website. We're working on the Wakka merch. We're doing the drop this Saturday. We have a lady in Suva that's doing our apparel. What do we call it? Sorry, coordination, apparel coordination and distribution. She's being at Market
Logistics.
City, Market Garden. What is it? Market Garden or Market City?
The Garden City.
Garden. Oh, I had
Market?
that wrong. So I was so off on that. Anyway,
The city market garden is called?
Market City Garden, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, she has a
So
stall.
where is she?
Garden,
That's the thing.
Garden City?
Not bad. Yeah.
Did I do it right?
You did do it right.
Thank
That's-
you.
You said that with a big question mark, but okay.
I did, but
Yeah.
I was still right.
Where is she?
So Garden
Garden
City, she's
City.
going to be having our apparel there. We're launching the website Saturday so people can buy things online. It has been a push. And so part of the tension is I told John, don't announce this. Don't say anything about it because we might not be ready. And then he's been on the lives and being like, we're going to be ready
So I
and
basically
launching by
forced us into
Saturday.
this on purpose because, like, I have a lot of work that we need to do on the farm because it's the harvest season right now.
Yeah.
And also planting season. So, like, I have to get to planting sandalwood and citrus and stuff like this. And then we have to get going with this next business in Suva. And so I'm like, we have to just get this done and get it launched and do it properly.
Yeah.
So I just gave us a couple weeks to just do it. It's so that we can move on because, like, I've got just a bunch of other stuff that needs to get done and I just can't have it hanging over us anymore.
And I think we're actually going to be ready to launch by Saturday if
Yeah.
we're really lucky. It may be a bit of a like launch and then go, oh my goodness, we don't have this or this sorted out, but it's okay. We're going to do it. We had all the photo shoots done. We had like, it's been a bit of a gong show. I wish we could have taken you guys along in the background of it all, but it's just been kind of a push to get it done. But I love the photos that we ended up with. Tui did a great job at getting those shots and editing them to make them look fantastic. So whatever
You know when
see
you
on the
realize you
website-
need like a backup, like content manager to your content manager, or like you know what I mean?
well, we need
It's
a.
like you need somebody along to like film the content while you get the content.
Do you know what I was thinking the other day?
Tell me.
I decided in my mind, like I was talking to Tui about like maybe like we have this new contract with Digicel that we're doing 2 posts a month for them to advertise, which we're making like a chunk of change with. And I was saying to him, maybe we need a new like editor with that. And then I was thinking yesterday, maybe we need someone just to do vlogs for us that just comes in and they full time to do like 2 to 3 vlogs a month. That would pretty much,
month?
or a
A
week,
week?
I mean, and
Yeah.
that would pretty much pay for itself.
Yeah.
Like if we had someone come in and just only do that side of like our content creation, that would be killer.
yeah.
And so if anybody in Fiji knows anyone that is a
Let's go.
amazing video editor, I'm in for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be great because it's a lot of work to do that editing and even
We'll
the
even house
filming
you.
of that.
We even have a place in town that you can stay. Do we?
Yeah, we
Where's
do.
that?
We now have an office.
Okay.
Well, we've had an office
We
for
have
a
a
while.
1-bedroom office suite thing that we use for an office, but it has
Yeah.
a bedroom in it. That
And
you can stay in. Has a
we
kitchen.
would buy you a bed in there. It has a kitchen.
We'll buy you a bed.
Pretty much we just hired someone that's doing marketing and sales for our new media company that we're just launching. Probably we're going to launch it in probably December or January when we open our new coffee shop in Suva. We're going to try to do it around the same time. We're taking on projects currently, but I think it's just kind of it's one of those things in the background that we're developing. It's part of the reason that we're getting a website out right now. We're pretty excited to launch it.
Yeah.
But we have a girl that we were trying to get to move here. We were saying, yeah, you come live in the office, but she can't. There's a lot of background stuff that is making it impossible maybe till next year. So we have a space right now that we could host somebody in. We really need to just build a dormitory of people that we could just say, hey, come live with us.
Pretty much.
and help us run all this kind of stuff. We need a team behind us. I was talking to my parents today saying like, yeah, it's great. Now we can do all these things. We actually have a team behind us. Where before it was John and I at like 2 a.m. filming stupid things trying to get content out and trying to edit things. And it was such a scramble. And now with an editor and people that are helping us with like the vision of how our website layout could be and the improvement in that is so helpful. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I'm so grateful to have people behind us like that.
Yeah.
Because it's been in the works for 4 years that we've been wanting to put a website out, but between the two of us, it's just been
That's why I was
impossible.
like, screw it. Like, we just need to get this done. Otherwise, we'll never get it done.
Yeah.
Like, well, and that's the thing. I think some of you are probably like, know what you need to do, but you have known it for a long time, but you have no reason to actually do it. So just tell a bunch of people that you're going to get it done by a certain date.
Yeah.
And just that will keep you
Force you.
accountable to it. Well, honestly.
I was listening to...
Like, I saw this girl on Instagram. I think it was like a couple nights ago.
Okay.
Or maybe last week. But she was like, I saw her post. She's like, I'm going to lose 40 kilos or something by a certain... Or like, this is my journey to lose 40 kilos. And she announced it. And then it was in this... And then like several months or a year later, it was like her being like having lost all the weight and totally different looking person.
Yeah.
Like totally different. And I was like, that's what you have to do. You have to announce it to the world that you're going to do something. If you're a person that's like not motivated. And in this case, like, we've got our social media, doing good stuff for us. But if Facebook kicks us off the platform for whatever reason, or if we get hacked or something like that happens, then like we have nothing on Facebook. If something happens on Instagram, then we're off of Instagram. But like at least our website is us. Like I own the website. We pay for the website on our own. It's our own thing. We can post all the videos. We can do all of our courses or teaching. We can sell stuff to the website. Like it's ours. Yeah. Nobody else controls that. So we need to start building into that. And there just hasn't been like a really big push for it ever.
But the new media company, how can you start a new media company without a website? That's what I'm like.
Exactly.
This needs to happen, and the merchandise is the catalyst to launch it because we need a space for people to be able to buy things online.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty exciting. I actually love the website. Yeah,
I love the website. In all honesty, though, I'm worried. I'm worried about like our following and like how much or like the way that we've done it, like how much support we're actually going to get.
I think you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
I think we have a good amount of support.
Because like we're going to start asking people for stuff. Like we're going to start being like, "Hey, we have a product that like satisfies a certain need amongst a certain people, like amongst a certain customer in this particular situation. Purchase from us." Because that's...
I think it'll be fine.
What we've been doing.
And if it's not, then we won't put out a ton more. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. I think I was listening to... So I was trying to tell you about a video I was watching today. Cody Sanchez, a lady that promotes easy small businesses.
Boring business. She's really great to listen to online. And she was talking about... I think it's a quote from her father. And I'm going to misquote it. But the general gist of it was that her dad said, to be an entrepreneur, you're never actually an entrepreneur until you wake up in the middle of the night, like holding your head in your hands, being like, what am I going to do next? And like the struggle. I think he was trying to emphasize like the struggle of someone that's starting something new and creative. It needs to be like, it's going to be hard. And I was watched that today and I went, yeah, sometimes it is really hard because you're putting yourself out there. You're doing something super new for yourself. It doesn't have to be new in the sphere of the world, but it's something new for you, and you're putting it out there and going like, I hope this is going to go well, and I hope that this is going to like actually be successful. And sometimes in the middle of it, you're going, I don't know what to do. Like it's not always going the best way possible, and then that forces you into creativity sometimes, and you make a pivot so it goes well. And I think like that's sometimes the exciting part about building business and being an entrepreneur is like the ups and downs of it. But it's all on you.
It's not on someone else. And
Yeah.
so if you're looking to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, having that stress is normal. Don't be surprised by it. It can be overwhelming. And you actually have to revel in the fact that like it all is based off of your creativity and like your capability of handling stress. So I think like that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah. When I'm stressed, I'm like, I want to like dig into it and be okay with it. But
I would
anyway,
say it's not complex. It's not about complexity. It's about consistency.
yeah,
People just give up too early. That's the only thing.
yeah,
Yeah. No, like people fail only because, or mostly because they just give up too early.
yeah.
Like fail like in like a whole sense. Like all of us have multiple failures every day. I had failures today. Just the way I came home, the way my attitude. But like the fact is that like we talk about it, we push through it, we have a conversation, and moving on. Because that's what you have to do with life. Otherwise, you might as well give up and shoot
We have
yourself.
exceedingly long hugs so I can like you again.
It's true. It's true. But it's just like the people who win are just people who just didn't give up. That's all.
Right.
So we always play this game. It's called We're Not Really Strangers. As you guys who are regular listeners know now. So we're on level 2, which is called Connection. So this is a connection card, and it's basically a conversation starter game. So when do you think that I'm at my best? Who am I with? And what am I doing?
Okay, say it one more time so I can have it accurate.
When do you think I'm at my best? Me, Jonathan. When am I at my best? Who am I with? And what am I doing?
I would say when you're at your best, like mentally, is like when you're doing something physically challenging.
Physically.
Physically. I would say when you're physically challenged, you're at your best mentally. Like when you have people that you have long history with, you do well with, like your dad or some of your best friends. What are you doing? Maybe like fishing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like when you're fishing
Oh, yeah.
and you're out exerting yourself and you're with people that like you have long history with, that's probably like your best moment in time and like who you are. Because that's like the space where you're relaxed, where you feel that you are known. And like physically, if you're exerted a bit, you are more at peace with yourself. I think. Yeah, I think that, or even like within Fiji context, like if you're out spearfishing, that's physically exerting. People that you enjoy your time with. Yeah, I think like that kind of stuff where you're physically involved is easiest because you have outlet. I see that constantly. So, when do you think I'm at my best? Who am I with? And what am I doing?
We're obviously with me. And so when are you at your best? So best is a very complex word. Like, are we talking about like, what? Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm thinking like, John's thinking, is what's best for me or Steph's best? Are you thinking those?
Yeah,
two
like I
things?
mean, I feel like best is a very general
Okay.
kind of word. Like best mom, best in business, best in.
Okay, what do you think is my best for you personally?
Oh, for me.
There
Okay.
you go. Let's make it personal.
I think you're your best when you have space to think. And I picture us like on a veranda with a drink in our hand and just talking about, like, like how we always say, like when you get away and you remove yourself from like the current situation, and it's not about drinking, it's just about, that's where usually things happen, where like we'll go on a out for the night or for a weekend or something, and that's where we like solve problems.
Okay.
And I feel like that's where you're at your best. It's like when you're out of the day to day, at least in Fiji, and you're able to see things from like 1,000 miles out and solve problems.
Yeah, I can see that, especially within the context of you. That makes sense.
Do you not agree?
I would say.
I don't think you work well under high pressure.
No, I do work well under high pressure, just not with you. Yeah. Our personalities clash under high pressure. Well, I don't know what everybody expects.
I'm just saying that just to irk you on.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what everybody expects. Like, this is not a magical moment of like us working well together. We typically, the way we work best is having our work roles separated. If John has his category and I have my category, we do really well. When we have to like combine, it's not. It's a bit of mayhem because I have like, I need like structure and like goals. So I told the boys the other day, we're going to do this photo shoot at 8. And then like Tui wasn't ready, still having breakfast, and had like a 30-minute shower, which I was having like a mental breakdown over. John called me and was like, I don't think I'm coming back till 10 because I'm doing a village work day. And I was having like
pay the rent.
a severe mental breakdown because I'm like, no, we said we were going to do this film at 8 a.m. So everybody is screwing over my entire day. And I'm upset because I want to get it done and out of my way so I never have to think about this again. And so it's very hard when everybody has like their own process of like their work style. We typically are like a clashing wall. And so if we can separate the two jobs and like you do this and I do this, we do really well.
Yeah.
When we have to be like on the same page and doing everything together, it is a lot of friction, which is fine. We get through it. We all typically survive. It's just maybe not a pretty process. So I'm glad you guys don't get to have a vlog of that process. We're not going to film during that time, ever. So just so you guys know, sorry, we're not including you in that.
It's about as real as it gets.
But you can experience it here, on the podcast.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's been a long week. We have the merch coming out. We're really excited. It's dropping Saturday.
By the time you listen to this, it will have been out.
Yeah.
And we're hopefully sold out by now.
And hopefully John and I, we've gotten through the process of like getting all the ads out to you, less conflict in our household. I already feel a big relief. Most of it's done. John actually has his jobs coming up with a lot of the back end stuff because I suck at that. So congratulations, honey. You're now the one on the computer and I can stop being a nerd. Now you get to have the nerd glasses on. And this podcast was sponsored by Fresh Jane Coffee. Thank you guys for joining. This was the Wakka Family Podcast.
Peace.
Have a good night.